Hey Stalwart Fam!
Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
My name is Faith.
My name is Michael.
And we are
the Stalwart Lovers. Hey!
Yes, so if you are seeing our faces for the first time, like if this is the first time you are jamming us on this YouTube space,
yes, sir.
You are welcome. Please subscribe to this channel. We film on faith, relationship, and lifestyle. So we are happy people. Come along with us.
And to our returning subscribers, thank you so much for the love. You're the reason we keep coming back.
Yes.
Okay, so what are we doing today?
Yes, so we are doing something really interesting today. I know I keep saying we are doing things really interesting. I think the last video too, I said something
exactly
like that.
What you said. Let me close to that.
Yeah, so what is actually interesting, I mean, we were just reminiscing one of these days, and we're like, oh more, the suffering we endured under our parents. It was like, oh my God, just do one small thing like this, why? Do one small thing like this, why? So we are going to be talking about some story times on our experiences with our parents, you know, different punishments, different beating, different abara. Wait, what are their names? Abara, there's
no, they are in faces. For example, myself, my dad started beating me with 2 fingers.
Okay.
Alright, then he moved to 3, and then he moved to 5, and then he moved to like belt, and there's pankere, there's koboko.
Different types of
I mean, as you grow older, there are different phases of this corporal punishment. So, Nigerian parents and their home training. See, the truth of the matter is that this home training, these are the things that formed us. Whatever we have formed as a belief and some sort of discipline, some of these home trainings really brought them out. So we cannot fault their methods per se. Because some of those methods you ask yourself, did you really need to do this?
He's talking as if he's going to beat his child.
I'm never going to beat my child. If you like, tell me a story. There are other ways. There must be other ways. You know, I'm not talking about occasional spanking like, hey, be careful or whatever. But the way I was beaten,
as in like,
I have taken out the king of my generation. Honestly speaking. Anyway, let's just jump into the story. Now, let me give you one. The first one that comes to mind anytime I think about, and to be honest, my dad was the disciplinarian of the family. My mom.
Sorry, babe. Okay. By the way, in this video, I'm going to be doing more of the keeping quiet. I'm sure you for obvious reasons. Let's continue.
What's the obvious reason?
Yeah, the honest. Yeah, not stubborn.
I'm the one that's stubborn.
I cannot imagine a Michael version of what I know like as a small boy. Oh God.
If I have a version of me as a child, by God's grace, I'm going to have a beautiful boy. Fact. Story for another day. Because as a child, I was.
You showed your parents Pepe.
I showed everything. So I could say that I deserved some of the beatings, although I feel like I didn't deserve most of them.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, you guys should judge, right? Number 1. You know, I have this mind of my own.
Kind of vibe.
Yes. From when I was young, I've always had a mind of my own. It's what I want to do that I would do. I don't like doing things because I was told to do something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's too much authority. And I don't like authority. I like leadership. From when I was young, right? I like influence. I like to be influenced to know why I should do something. And that's the approach I take even in my own leadership.
Yeah.
So my dad gave us money, 20 naira. Myself and my elder brother, we're just students. Myself and my elder brother, go and barb your hair at the barbing salon beside the church. He gave us the money for the barbing. So it's not as if, okay, he didn't have money and he had arranged with the guy to barb us for free, he will pay him later. And I didn't want to barb there. I don't like barbing there. It's not as if they don't barb. What's my haircut? The hairstyle wasn't that. But I just did not want to barb there. I preferred this other guy that was closer to our house, not the one closer to church. So on our way to church, we were trekking to church. I told my other brother, I'm going to barb in this guy's barbing salon. That's what I want to do. My other brother is the one that's always, Dad said we should barb at the church barbing salon. I'm like, I'm going to barb here. I have my money. And I sat down, I entered, I barbed my hair. My brother was also like this. He's always the one that doesn't like trouble.
Crossing the road.
Yes, I'm the one that can dare things even though he got into trouble. So I sat down, bam, my head. Look at my brother. Did anything happen? Did the word die? Did the word end? You know, then we trekked to the church. My brother quietly was barbing his own hair at the church. So I sat down waiting for him as well. And the camera that would catch me, my dad came in while my elder brother was barbing his hair. My dad was like, you guys have quickly finished barbing for Michael.
I'm not doing that bad for him.
The unserious wicked barber that is jealous that I never barbing the shop. Oh, this one, I didn't barb for him. He has already barbed his hair before coming. My dad just looked at him like this. Follow me. Ha!
You know, this is not the kind of follow me or that Jesus said.
It's not follow me
and I'll make you features of
men.
It's like,
no.
Follow me and I will beat the hell out of you.
I will beat the craziness out of that your head. When my dad takes me by the hand like that, a firm grip, I just know that I'm done for. And I was just praying, I need an angel. That day, and an angel came out for me. Because just before my dad beat me, a woman because he took me to the corner of one packed train. The woman just parked. As I saw the woman, I just shouted, so the woman was like, Emma, no, don't beat him. What did you do? So I just intensified my crying. I've not been beaten him. That was how I was saved that day. But if I was beaten, I'm not sure if I deserve the beat because I don't see a reason why I should bad in that place. But maybe my dad just believed that if I tell you to do something you'll do it. You know. So another one that I feel like I actually deserved. There's this boy in my class. His dad and my dad are friends, but he was a dullard. Like pretty much that's what it is, right? Yes. So he always came first from the back. And you know, in primary school, then if you don't do well in class, a very terrible practice. They will ask us to sing dullard song for you. Yeah, pa olodo, yeah, pa we mo we re olodo. You know all those ojo ejalo mo je oni je paper olodo rabata. You know all this kind of. So as a young boy, we saw it as fun to shame people who are not as intelligent as us. You know, because the teachers will ask us to clap and sing for them. They will bring them out. That's that bad, right? Very terrible practice. So one time like that, my dad took me on a stroll to meet his friend. And when we were leaving, so I asked after his son, and he said the son is fine. And I said, he's a dullard. Like I said it in Yoruba, I said, come away. I didn't know the gravity of what I said, to be very honest.
Wow.
I didn't know the gravity of what I said. Because it was normal to us. Like I was just informing him that your son is not doing well in school. I don't know who sent me message. This is my sharp mouth.
That's a sharp mouth.
So I just noticed that there was a little bit of awkwardness. But they just laughed and my dad took me. And the way my dad held my hand, that same grip, I knew that okay, something is wrong. Yeah, like my kid. I was like, have you misfired again in this your lifetime? So on our way home, and we lived in a sort of a ghetto sort of thing, but like bushes. So as we were going home, my dad just started cutting the grass, just cutting bush and gathering bush. When that is cutting bush from the road, I was telling me that in your life you never open your mouth to call somebody olodo again. That someone is a dullard. That was when I knew that okay, I think I messed up. So that day ended badly for me. But that one I knew I deserved it.
You deserved it.
But the one that I was beaten mercilessly and I did not deserve. Dad, I forgive you. I forgive you.
Oh my god.
It was raining. My dad was at home. Maybe he was going through a lot.
Okay.
And you know these parents are passing aggression to their children.
Yeah.
I think I suffered
in the name of
corporal punishment or discipline. Yes. I think I suffered that a little bit. My dad was going through a really down time and there was no food in the house and all those things. So maybe he even gave me his last kobo to go and buy him food. He sent me beans and bread. Beans and bread.
Okay.
And it was raining. So I felt like a good son. I entered the rain. Honestly speaking, I still remember the way I was running in the rain. Rain was beating me, feeling like I'm a good son. My father sent me on an errand and I must walk the walk of my father while it is day. The night cometh when no man can walk. I ran so enthusiastically to where they sell the food and I bought the beans and bread. And I got home, I put it on the plate, and sincerely I was expecting my dad to praise me and to tell me that, oh, thank you, my son. And so,
Did so well.
yes.
Good and faithful son.
Yes. After thanking me a little bit, he opened the plate and he saw rice.
Please add beans to rice.
Before God and man, it was beans I bought. Because honestly, when I saw the rice, me too, I was shocked. You understand? Because I don't understand how you can go and buy beans and bread, and you now buy rice and bread. Because even me, as a child, it shocked me.
Oh my God.
I was honestly, my dad just took me and beat the hell out of my life.
Out of your life, like.
Right? I'm not sure I deserve that. I don't know. Do you guys think I deserve that cane? But
well, to me, I don't know, but I think he was just frustrated.
I think he was
just angry.
Maybe it was his last card.
And he was angry.
So he beat the hell out of me, and then after that he now gave me the food to go and eat. I had the bread and rice like that because see this my sweat and my cane, you know. So really a lot of things like that our parents have done in a way that they're trying to make us better. I mean, several times you go and play football, and in the rain you come back. My dad will tell you, don't play football again. You play football, you get wound, you injure yourself.
They'll see flog you on top of you.
They'll beat you out of your life, you know. So stuff like that, or you lose money. Hey, you don't want to lose money in the Nigerian room. They'll beat. Hey, or your textbook tear. See, let's not go there. How about you?
Well, for me, you can call me. I'm sure a lot of you will have guessed by now. I was this gentle child. Very, very gentle. Like, I was like my introverted self started from being a child. And I was so scared of cane.
This one's
like the
fear of cane is the beginning of wisdom.
Like the little times that my mom flogged me, which was mostly punishment. I used to kneel down very well. Kneel down, raise your hand and close your eyes. It was punishment for 1 hour. Your body will be shaking when you're done with the punishment. But cane, I hated cane. In fact, let me even tell you guys, that was the reason why I would do something that my mom asked me to do, because I'm already like that cane. I don't want my mom to come back home and flog me. That's one.
In fact, in
school, when I was in school, when I was growing up, I mean being a teenager and stuff in secondary school, I hated being among the latecomers. Because latecomers, the way they used to flog them, you'll be kneeling down like this under sun. You will have knelt down throughout assembly. After the punishment, they will still come and flog you on your hand again, like 3 or 4 strokes. Very, very annoying. And sometimes it's even your fellow students, maybe the head boy or the head girl that will be flogging you.
So are you serious? Fellow students flogging you?
Yes.
You don't try that.
Especially if they are senior prefects.
Senior prefects cannot flog. You can only ask them to go and pick or
and
sweep.
it's the teacher that would tell them
to flog.
Yes.
They will double cross you and beat the hell out of you. I remember one time as a prefect, I seized a student's belt. He came to my class to threaten me that you did not say that they draw bed on that belt, Abi. Don't worry. He'll be used to pass that place to go home. Like, he came to threaten me in class.
So I mean, I was this kind of girl that did not like to break the rules because I was afraid of cane.
I think it works for you,
although, yeah, I think it kind of works. If my mom till today, she still says that I know that not give her stress. But the only times that I got beaten was times like when, my mom would give my elder sister instructions, you know. And sometimes I'll hear the instructions, of course, and then my mom will go out, and then when I start playing,
she will forget, Abi.
She will forget me, so I'll forget immediately.
It's
when mommy now comes home that will not. It's be like when we hear at the gates. Our brain will now be set like, wait. Mommy has also washed plates now. Wait, the sitting room is rough. Hey, and my mom, the thing you can do to piss out the most
is that the rough house. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. For my mom, we know the time. We know the time she comes home from the market. So we already calculate 30 or 15 minutes before that time. So no matter what you're doing, no matter how busy you are, get that house arranged before she comes. You know, if you want her to be in a good mood.
I remember scenarios that we'll be running a skater, clean the house, clean plates,
sweeping dirt under the chair,
putting plates inside cupboard, putting plates everywhere. You just get there and just see that there's no plates. We'll not later go back and go and be bringing it out and wash it. And then some of the reasons, I think when I was a little baby too, one of the memories of cane that I also remembered was actually picking up pencil. You know, that time, I mean, was it my fault? I mean, I was just learning how to write. I was just learning how to write. Yes. Because, I mean, I think then we even used to submit our books in school. So, I don't even think I had like a book to write on. So, I would write on it. I was like, so the word too can be written on. Wow, I write A on it. Okay.
So it was some sort of discovery.
It was like discovery. When she came back home, who wrote on this wall? I was so shaking.
Because you now realize that what did I do?
I'm not supposed to write on the wall, right? Wow. Okay, I think I'm in soup now.
Let me quickly tell you. One. This one is epic. You know, I have OCD. To a certain degree, so I like things being even.
Okay.
I think we talked about it in our previous thing. Yeah. So there was this particular chair in our house, a dining chair. So imagine those chairs that don't have armrest.
Okay.
Right. So this is one side, this is the other side.
Okay.
So I noticed that this side was cut, like the leather on it was already torn. Right. So I just look like this one is torn, this one is not torn. Like it's not balanced. And I do not know what came into me. See, when the Bible says that there is madness in the heart of children, I think that it was me the Bible was talking about. As I picked up a sharp knife. Honestly speaking, until my dad walked in, I did not realize what I was doing.
You don't even realize it.
I picked up a sharp knife and I started cutting this side of the chair. Just to make sure that it's balanced. So this one is torn, then this one should be torn. And I was cutting it. And see, because God wanted me to be a good child, my dad always caught me in the act. Like, I'm the kind of person that I cannot do bad for long. I'll be caught in the act. One of the reasons why I do not cheat in exams is because I used to tell people that the day I cheat, that's the day they will catch me. Because I have seen the trend that whenever I'm about to be, they will catch me. So see, just be good. Just be good. People can cheat and go scot-free. They can steal money and go scot-free. They will catch me. They have not. So my dad just walked in and I saw him. My hand was still frozen in air with the knife, and I knew that Michael, you are dead. Because as he walked in, he just used his back to close the door and lock it. That was it. He beat me that day. And when my dad tells you that I will beat you 50 strokes, if the number changes, it can only get higher. It cannot beat you 49. It can beat you 51, 57. 92, but not less than the 50 he told you. That's how my dad, and my dad does not beat you like one kind of serious, beat you on the hand or beat you anywhere that you turn to him. Wah. So in your lifetime, it's a dangerous thing to fall into the hands of my dad. I mean, those days, now it's much calmer. It doesn't. Our last born was never beaten. He's almost 18 now.
Yeah.
Never beaten by my dad. I used to look at him like, you don't know.
What's you enjoying it?
Because oh God, when my dad was in his youth and he had the strength, we suffered.
Yes, so
myself, my elder brother, and my younger brother Jibola, we suffered.
Suffered.
Yes, we did. But anyways, let's give them a little credit, right?
Yeah.
All these things they did, to be honest, they did because they loved us. They did because that was the way they were taught to instill discipline. And to be very frank, it worked. We turned out disciplined.
Ways, yeah.
Do I think that we could have still been disciplined if they tried other methods? Yes, I strongly believe so. I think the ways of Cain is not always the best way. The hard way is not always the best way.
Like, like me, I don't think I even needed Cain at all.
Yeah. So I needed Cain. To be honest, I was really stubborn, but then not to the degree that I got it. Like this time I failed in class, and the holiday I was beaten almost every day of that holiday. My dad would sit me down to study, and if I doze off, I get a slap. You tell me to read this, and 5 days later I should recite it to me. And I'm reading under duress because there's Cain here, and I need to still be able to tell you what I read, and I will get beaten for not remembering. There was time that I even remembered I could see the answer, but I wanted him to think that I was trying to remember the answer, and I stalled too much trying to remember the answer that I was seeing, and I was beaten. Did those things work? In a way work. So some of you young men and young women that feel like, in fact, there's no how you will not beat your children. take advice. You can instill discipline on your children without actually beating them. Were we better for it? I think God just really decided that we will turn out well, because after I was a kid, I was still having terrible tendencies. Like I was hardened. Kid. Even the punishment, we got tough.
All those kids they're not really like what was changing.
Let me tell you, my dad would tell me and my elder brother to go and stool down. If you don't know what stool down is, you would bend down, your finger would touch the floor, one leg up, one hand down, the other hand behind your back. Before, after 5 minutes, we are already drooling tears and kata and crying. I will not do that again. After some months, we'll stool down for 1 hour, we'll not shake, we'll just be there. We grew tough.
Yes, now that's the
When my dad comes, he will not be faking that our hand is failing us. We are already tough. So some of those punishments did not really change us. So this is for people that are young like us. When you have your own children or the ones you have now, it's not always by the cane. Focus on the mindset and the foundation of their mind and the knowledge you expose them to. But let's give them a little credit. My dad, I can never forget my dad for the disciplines that he gave to me. Most importantly, I cannot forget my dad for the courage. If you see me bold today, I owe a lot of it to my dad. I used to be very timid. I used to be very shy. My dad instilled boldness in me. He used to tell me, you are strong, you are bold. My dad was my motivational speaker as a young boy, right? Even after beating me and I'm crying, my dad would call me and he'll pray for me and they'll tell me, you're going to USA, you travel to Canada, you travel all over the world, and I'll be scared and say, amen. But he always spoke positively into our lives. He always tried to, paint the good picture. He'll pick up banana and say, hello, is that mango from Canada? And then I'll pick up banana on the other side of the table and say, yes, Canada is very cold. Say, I just finished speaking to your brother Samson from US. Like that kind of mindset, even when we had nothing. My dad built that, and me, I dare to dream these days, and I owe that a lot to my dad. For my mom was like my savior. When I mean my savior, my mom saved me from a lot of trouble. She saved me from having a girlfriend once. Like the night that the girl would tell me yes, literally the night.
Does mommy know this?
I don't know if she knows. But she saved me. Like maybe there should be story time for that. I made attempts to have girlfriends, even though I never dated anyone. My wife was my first. I made attempts that failed. Right? I think I mentioned one of them before. My mom just noticed strange things about me. And the night that I was going to get a yes from her, my mom just called me and said, Michael, don't have girlfriend though. I didn't know where she got it from. I was thinking that my mom must be a witch. To be able to know that it's tonight, and because I love my mom so much, I couldn't go through with the plan. I didn't even call the girl back.
Mentioned that exact same thing. Like,
yes. And honestly speaking, maybe if I had done that, maybe I would have done some things with the girl that I shouldn't have. So I really thank my mom for being there. My mom was also this kind of succor to me. My mom was my best friend.
Oh.
I'm telling you, as a small boy, when I was in school, I was very small. I was very tiny. Like my mates were bigger than me. They would bully me, and I was their class captain. One girl, oh God, they submitted. Today is story time. They submitted exercise book to me. I gave to the class teacher to mark or something. Then when she gave us back, I distributed it, and one girl came and said she can't find her own. I said I submitted and I just collected from the class teacher. She said she can't find her own and I must get her own exercise book before tomorrow. I'm in trouble. My brethren, I took a new leaf of my book. I wrote the notes from first term to third term and I handed it over to the girl the next day. That's how much I was bullied as a young boy. My mom would call me and beat me up and tell me that you cannot allow them to bully you, and stuff like that. And that really brought out, some level of self-esteem. I think we will have another video when I talk about my self-esteem struggle, because I had a real big struggle with self-esteem. Growing up. So mom, dad, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. I thank you for all the canes. Honestly speaking, that was what you understood as the best way to parent, and I thank you for parenting me the best way that you know. And I'm grateful because I turned out better. And thank you for all the courage. Thank you for all the protection and every single thing you've done to make sure that I am the kind of man that I am today. I appreciate you and I love you.
Yes, so my parents, thank you so much as well for everything that you did. I know my dad, for one thing. My dad liked to dream. Like my dad was the one that taught us the culture of going out and having a nice time, enjoying ourselves. Every time we came back from the city we used to work then, he would take us out. Like we never missed an outing.
Fantastic.
Yes, we never missed an outing. So we were this kind of family that as many as we were, 4 children, mother and father, we would go out, eat jollof rice, drink. There was this particular picture, I don't know, even if I find it I will insert it. All this old Fanta bottle to show that
picture.
Yes, now we straws in all of them.
And then we all of us gathered,
yeah, and that's how we knew how to live our lives, and that was a very good lesson I learned from my dad. And my dad, you know, to enjoy life, to dream. My mom was the one that was more of the instill confidence in me, that kind of thing. Because when I was younger, people used to literally keep my water bottle or kick my food flask.
It's like we both have history of bullying.
Yes, and I wouldn't be able to go and tell them stop kicking my food flask or water bottle and just pick it up. I would not be watching them doing it. I don't know for whatever reason, because I cannot even picture myself doing that now. But anyway, that was how it used to be. And my mom would say, don't allow them to kick your water bottle, blah blah blah. Then I became senior prefect, head girl in SS3. My mom now called me. I was like, now you're in a leadership position. You've never been in this kind of leadership position before. Now you're in a leadership position. You need to, stand up. You can't allow anybody to bully you. You can't allow anybody to talk you down. You have been chosen for this position for a reason. And it really opened my mind. I was like, okay, wow. So I need to stand up, and I actually did stand up. And that was the beginning of that change for me. So I really appreciate my parents. I love you. So
anyway, we're not insensitive to know that there are people that do not grow up with their own parents.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that you have parental figures in your life. An uncle, a guardian that also brought you up. Spend time to also appreciate them. Some of you can relate to this African Nigerian home training.
Yeah, so
some of you can relate to the places where you are beaten when you didn't deserve to be beaten. And some of you can relate to some beating that actually changed your life for better. So honestly, to the older generation, we thank you for the way you tried your best for us. We can only promise to do better, less cane, and better approaches. Yes, because I'm always an advocate for less cane. Like, as much as possible, don't beat your children. Not that it's not good, but find other ways. Yeah. Find other ways. We are lucky that we don't have.
But there are some countries that you dare not. So
of course. So if you find yourself in those countries, I'm gonna call the papa on you, mama.
So yeah, let's just wrap this video up. If you have experiences like that, comment them down below. Feel free to just relate with us, interact with us. I mean, give us those experiences. I know that many of us, yes,
we can relate.
We can relate. Yes, so like this video if you enjoyed it, comment down below, yes, and then share with your loved ones, and subscribe if you haven't.
Make sure you click that subscribe button. All right,
please do.
All right, till we come your way again,
keep loving
and keep believing.
We are
the Stalwart Lovers.